Republicans have proposed a new anti-Iran bill in the Senate in an attempt to block the nuclear peace deal. So let me give you the details of this. This is according to Huffington Post. They say, quote, "The bill would require the president to submit the final agreement to Congress. Congress will have up to 52 days to review the final agreement. During that time, the president is prohibited from waiving the congressional sanctions during the review period. The 52-day review period is broken down as follows. There is an initial review period of 30 days to review and vote on sanctions relief. An additional 12 days are automatically added if Congress passes a bill and sends it to the president, and an additional 10 days on top of that if the president vetoes the legislation. They say if the final deal is submitted late after July 9th, the review period reverts to 60 days. So as you can see, up to this point, everything that they're talking about is just procedural, and you have this amount of time to do that thing and that amount of time to do this thing. They say the president is required to certify to Congress every 90 days that Iran is complying with the terms of the final agreement. I really don't understand that provision because all the Republicans in the Senate and the Republicans in the House would have to do, if they're so concerned about that, is go read the reports from the IAEA, which come out only all the fucking time, which have said the same thing over and over and over again, which is that Iran is complying. But no, they want to hear from the president himself. Why? To throw a wrench into this somehow, I'm sure. And they say, quote, "It also requires the president to make a series of detailed reports to Congress on a range of issues, including Iran's nuclear program, its ballistic missiles work, and its support for terrorism globally, particularly against Americans and our allies. With this information, Congress will be able to determine the appropriate response in the event of Iran sponsoring an act of terrorism against Americans." Okay. So, are you ready for the saddest part of this story? You know what Senate Democrats did when they heard about this? And it's Bob Corker's deal, by the way, a Republican senator from Tennessee. But the Democrats responded by saying, yes, we are on board. You Republicans are being oh so reasonable. And then Obama responded by saying, yeah, if you pass that bill, I probably won't veto it, no. So before, when the Republicans were more honest about their intentions to derail the Iran peace deal, the Democrats were like, we will not stand for this. The Republicans are trying to block peace. This is wrong. And then the president and the White House came out and said, we'll veto it if you try to pass a bill that screws up any kind of agreement here. But then now that the Republicans go away for a few days and they come back out and say, oh, you know, we rethought our position and we have this new oh-so-reasonable bill that you might want to pass. Would you be okay with that? Now the Democrats, in their infinite stupidity and weakness, go, well, they seem like honest actors here. We're on board with your new shitty bill. You idiots! How do you not see that this is a Trojan horse? Any bill that they pass on the issue of the Iran peace negotiations are going to be used to derail the bill. And by the way, like I laid out for you right there, one of the provisions they say, well, we need to get updates on the current situation of Iran sponsoring terrorism around the world. Okay, that's so loosely and broadly defined, and it can be interpreted in so many ways that the Republicans can use that provision to basically block any peace deal for any reason whatsoever. They can go as far as saying, well, you know, Iran is currently involved in a fight in Iraq, and we don't like that, so they're state-sponsoring terrorism over there, and end the deal. Now, what they wouldn't tell you is the particulars of that and the specifics, which is that who is Iran fighting in Iraq? ISIS! They're fighting ISIS! They're fighting fundamentalists! And also they could point to something like the rebels in Yemen who have taken over. Yemen was basically a Sunni-led country, and the Shias came in, the Houthi rebels, and they overthrew the government. And, of course, the Republicans are going to say, oh, look at you guys. Iran is giving you weapons, and it's state-sponsored terrorism, and it's Shias overthrowing Sunni, so that's not okay. We should do no deal with you whatsoever because of that. When, again, what are they going to leave out? That Yemen beforehand was already a failed state, and you know who was running wild in there? Al-Qaeda. So, yeah, I don't like the Houthi rebels and I don't like Al-Qaeda, but if I had to pick between the two of them as to who would be running a country more so, I would rather have the Houthi rebels in there. I would rather have the Shias in there than the fundamentalist Sunnis in there. But of course, the Republicans are going to use stuff like this to just derail the bill, the nuclear bill, when the nuclear bill is better than anybody could have imagined that we would have gotten at the beginning of this whole situation. Again, I want to repeat what's in that deal so we fully understand the context here. So what we got is Iran to basically give up centrifuges and cap the amount that they enrich their uranium, and they agreed to have the IAEA and the UN come in there all the time and keep them under constant surveillance and write reports nonstop about what they're doing. So we got exactly what we wanted. There is no Iran nuclear weapons program. It doesn't exist, and all we have to do in response is gradually, when they prove that they're complying, remove sanctions against them, economic sanctions. So we have peace, we have a perfect deal, and what are the Republicans doing? They're passing a bill that says, well, we get to review it in the final summation. At the last second, we get to review it. And they're not being rational actors. They're not being honest in their goals here. What they're going to do is they're just going to use this to derail the bill no matter what. And the Democrats are walking right into the trap. The Democrats are going, oh, okay. Yeah, we're with you because you made it sound reasonable on paper, so we think you're going to respond reasonably and use it reasonably as we go along here. But they've already told you that they're all against the bill. So why would you be in favor of anything that they pass on this front? And to be clear here, you don't need Congress to deal with this. They're making it seem like, under the Constitution, we have to weigh in on this. That's the way it works. Incorrect. If that was true, then why didn't anybody scream at Reagan when he did comparable deals with other countries? They didn't say anything to him. They didn't try to block that. They didn't try to get in the way. All spending bills have to originate in Congress. This isn't a fucking spending bill. Of course the White House and the executive branch have the authority to negotiate a deal like this, and they don't have to go through Congress. Now, if you want to have a conversation about economic deals and trade deals, that's a different story. In that case, it does need to go through Congress, and I'm the first one out here to say that, as I have said about the TPP, for example, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. But when it comes to something like this, no, Congress doesn't need to get involved. But they want to get involved. Why? Because they're not interested in peace. They want to derail the bill. Am I clear enough? I'll say it 100 times over if I have to. They have no interest in peace. They've told us repeatedly they have no interest in peace. And just like I said last week when we spoke about this, think about it. You have the Democrats in the U.S., the Obama administration and John Kerry, they have come out and they're on the record as saying, we are for peace with Iran. We want to do a nuclear negotiation. We want to do a deal on this. We have the government of Iran saying we are in favor of doing that as well. Now, again, you could say, well, the government of Iran is not trustworthy and they have some shady characters and they always say death to America and death to Israel, so we don't trust them. Yeah, but understand, we have the same kind of extremists too, where we have people here that say we should nuke Iran yesterday. People like Louis Gohmert, people like Duncan Hunter, and we've gone over those quotes endlessly. So there's crazy on both sides, but what we do know is that the official position of the government of Iran is, let's do a deal. The official position of the Democrats here, let's do a deal. And who the fuck is standing in the way? The Republicans here, and of course the Likud party, which is the right-wing party in Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu's party. So tell me again who the bad guys are? I'm told that I'm supposed to hate Iran no matter what they do at all times, and that's the end of the conversation. Don't think about it, don't read the details, just hate Iran. But if they're on the record as saying they want peace, and the Democrats are here as well, but the Republicans are blocking it, and the Likud party's blocking it, I have a brain, I have eyes, I see what's going on, and I know who actually wants war. That would be the Likud party, and that would be the Republican party. And of course, the Democrats in America are so fucking stupid that they walk right into the trap. And they go, oh, I guess the Republicans really care about getting peace now. Let's pass this bill. Obama's like, I'm not going to veto it. I'll sign that bill because you seem to be acting reasonable. Then the second he signs it, what are they going to do? Derail the fucking bill, say no matter what, we're not going to pass this. And the Democrats are going to be standing around like idiots with their thumbs up their ass going, well, gee, I thought they'd be reasonable, even though for the past fucking 50 years they've been idiots on every issue and they've been obstructionist on every issue. Obama, do not sign that bill. Democrats in the Senate, do not vote for that bill. If you do it, what you're doing is pushing us one step closer to war with Iran. I don't want that. Intelligent people don't want that. They don't want that. Only a bunch of warmongering crazy people who don't want peace want that. That would be the Republican Party, and that would be the Likud Party.